A toxic relationship will always give you a reason to leave. And conversely, a mediocre one just takes up time and years of your life. So if you've been saying it's not that bad, today we're going to talk about why that it's not that bad phrase is actually costing you more than you think. We're going to unpack why a fine relationship is actually much more dangerous than a toxic one, and how to finally get honest with yourself about what you actually want. So, welcome back. I'm Jite, and here in this community, we're not settling for just okay. I hear from so many people, not just my clients, people who are in relationships that have technically been over for years, but they stay for a myriad of reasons because there's been no, but mostly because there's been no major blowout. Everything's just fine and okay. So by the end of this video, I'm going to share a free resource with you that I believe will help you figure out why exactly you're staying. And spoiler alert, it's not because of love. Okay. So one of the first things that I want to say is that everyone talks about how hard it is to leave a toxic relationship. And I'm not minimizing that. It's true. It's hard to leave any relationship. Obviously, one that's not good, it's hard to leave. Um, but no one talks about the trap of a mediocre one, right? When someone cheats on you or treats you terribly, they hand you a clear exit pass. Like, who's going to stick around when you're not being treated well in a very, very, deep sense, right? Um, and I'm not making light of this. So it's almost, I want to say, easy when the relationship is glaringly terrible or bad. But when a relationship, and this is the real point of this video, when a relationship is just fine or not bad, when we using those terms to describe or to acknowledge how it is or how we're feeling, in a way it lures you to sleep, right? It's like a slow leak of air from your tire instead of that boom that you hear, that blown out tire. Obviously, when that happens, you can't keep going even if you wanted to. But when it's slow leaking, you're saying to yourself, when I just get to the vulcanizer, when I just get home, when I just do this, you know what I mean? It's much more easier to keep going, right? Even though going is not pleasant or may not be pleasant. So a bad relationship, in essence, gives you evidence, while a mediocre one will give you nothing but doubt and can really steal 10 years of your life without you ever being able to get it back. Secondly, I want to mention that standard relationship advice tells many at some point to journal, to write it out, to pray over it. These are the types of things you hear. And to focus on the potential that is there, to focus on the possibilities. And not to say that potential cannot be realized or become a thing, or that potential is not good. But if when you're in something, the focus is on thinking about or projecting what can be, it's not really, you want to feel what you feel every day. You don't want to live on feelings or potential that could be realized or not in the future as you live your life. Because really, all we have is the now. So many have been told to journal, to pray. Again, nothing wrong with those, they do help. But I'm talking about how, when you're in a relationship that is predicated upon something that can be, it's so easy to stay in it, waiting for the can be to be, right? And most women do. They pray, they journal, but take a minute and just, if that's what you've done, and read back a journal or read what you wrote in your journal even 6 months ago, because you'll see that what you were writing was something that could be or that will be, or who he could be or that person could be, as opposed to who they were in that moment. You were not writing what was actually happening. You were focused on what would happen or what you expected, hoped, were praying or journaling into existence, right? And so that gap Between the story you're telling yourself and the life that you're living, that's what, or that's where you are right now. And the last point that I want to make on this is that the harsh reality or the harsh truth that many, many will not tell you is that you're not staying because of the relationship. Hear me again. If you hear nothing else, you are more than likely not staying because of the relationship in and of itself. You're staying because of a lot of noise from the outside. And that noise presents itself in very different ways. It could be what your mom said. It could be what your aunt said. It could be what your girlfriend said. It could be what the church thinks. It could be what society says. And the fear of what people will say about you. Fear of judgment is, I've seen, is one of the biggest things that holds us back from living lives that we actually want to live. 99% of us do not want to be judged. And that in and of itself is not a bad thing. But when the fear of being judged keeps you from doing or being who you're created to be, that's a problem. So many of us say things like, because we're fearful of what people will say if we were actually to act on what we needed to do, want to do, know we should do, we that holds us back. So we are fearful of people saying, if you leave a good partner, or what are you gonna do, right? Or the grass is always green where you wet it. Which again, all these things in context are not bad, but when they're just things that are said as cliche, just without the context of what is happening, that's where the problem typically lies. So you're not loyal to the relationship, you're actually loyal to what people will say when that relationship is no longer in existence as you've projected or created it to be, or as you're living it, I should say. So, if you made it to this point of the video, this part of the video, you already know likely what I'm talking about. And I would love for you to download the guide in the description, because it will help you to get out of the lies you've been telling yourself, get off the fence, get off that state of stuckness, which is not really a real thing, but just mimicking the language that some of us say when we say we're stuck. We're not. It's a decision, a choice that you've made to remain where you are. You're not stuck. You're not glued. So I have something, this guide will really help you. It's called the Relationship Clarity Checklist. It's very short, very simple, but very potent. And it walks you through the actual hidden reasons that you're still there, so that you can get into a action, you can make the decision, whatever it is, but you're doing it from a more informed, or from an informed perspective, and you're doing this all without spiraling or going into a panic. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.